have to make a confession to you, sir.
What?
I was the one who vandalized the mall sign.
Oh, you piece of shit!
Doc.
What?
Doc, are you okay?
What's going on? I thought we were nuked.
Nuked?
Yeah, and where are all the zombies?
I'm the only zombie here.
So wait, you are a zombie? Not a ghoulie?
What the hell is a ghoulie?
I guess I was just daydreaming then, but it was more like a nightmare.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Could you just tell me what I need to do with those canisters of chemicals I found?
Chemicals? Oh, God, I don't know. Give me time to think about it. For now, just go clean up that pile of dog shit in front of the Dillard's entrance. Greetings, I'm your host, Dr. Wolfula, and when I'm not having That's-So-Raven-style visions that last for 4 videos, I'm here at the Oaks Dead Mall reviewing movies. So it turns out I just imagined the last few videos here that ended with this mall and I getting nuked. It's a good thing that this is real life, because if this was something that was written by somebody, it'd feel like a serious cop-out. Still, like Ebenezer Scrooge, I've learned a valuable lesson, and that lesson is that I need to get rid of this goddamn mall before I actually get nuked, I guess. For now, though, while I'm still here at the Oaks Dead Mall, I might as well review a mall-themed horror flick for you. And what better choice than Chopping Mall, released in 1986 and directed by Jim Wynorski. Director of such films as The Bear Wench Project, Book of Babes, Bear Wench 2, Bear Wench 3, Path of the Wicked, The Witches of Brestwick, The Hills Have Thighs, Busty Cops 2, Busty Cops and the Jewel of Denial, Busty Cops Go Hawaiian, and Munchie.
And Dom DeLuise as the voice of Munchie.
Hey, sometimes you gotta help people in spite of themselves.
Yeah, Wynorski was a disciple of Roger Corman. Wynorski's first films were produced by Corman, and sometimes with this schooling you'd get a Coppola or a Scorsese. But with Jim Wynorski, the apple didn't fall far from the tree. Over the course of his 40-year career, Jim Wynorski has directed over 100 movies, which range from B-horror flicks, of course, to extremely stupid kids' movies to just straight-up pornography. So it's safe to say, with so many low-rent movies under his belt, Wynorski doesn't have the most watchable of filmographies. He's not exactly Quentin Tarantino, making careful choices about his projects before retiring, but like Tarantino, Wynorski makes his fetishes fairly obvious.
You smell like pepperoni.
Well, if that's the way you feel.
Wait a minute. I like pepperoni.
Chopping Mall, Jim Wynorski's second film, however, is a cult classic and the best of his films. Man, imagine peaking with your second movie and making over 100 movies after it. Just incredibly insane to think about. Maybe Busty Cops 5 will put Jim Wynorski's career back on track. Chopping Mall's origins begin when Julie Corman, the widow of Roger Corman, negotiated with Vestron to produce a horror movie set entirely in a mall, and Jim Wynorski took on writing responsibilities on the condition that he'd get to also direct the film. And after about a month of writing, Wynorski and his creative partner Steve Mitchell delivered the script to Corman and shot the film over the course of 20 days at the Sherman Oaks Galleria in LA. The film was originally envisioned to be a riff on Phantom of the Opera, but in a mall before Wynorski decided to feature killer robots instead. And interestingly, just a few years later, an actual Phantom of the Mall movie would come out that may or may not be covered by me in a future vid.
Hello, Eric.
Roger Corman was impressed with Wynorski's efficiency shooting Chopping Mall, and it was initially test screened under the title Killbots. This version of the film didn't test well with audiences though, so about 20 minutes were cut out and it was retitled Chopping Mall, which is a cool title, but it makes no sense. The movie is about robots that shoot lasers. Nobody gets chopped up, but hey, you gotta sell a movie however you can. The theatrical cut under the Chopping Mall title is only about 75 minutes. Pretty damn short even by horror movie standards, and as far as I know, the longer Killbots cut of the film has never been made available since it was test screened. But if you have that version of the movie, let me know, I guess.
Protector 1, arming. Detain intruders.
Even in its abbreviated form, Chopping Mall managed to garner a loyal cult audience, and without this film, Jim Wynorski probably would have never directed over 100 movies. And I'll explain why with my review of Chopping Mall. But first I have a message from my sponsor. Me! Pledge to my Patreon today to support the channel, help it continue to grow, and you'll also get access to weekly movie nights every Sunday, and archive commentaries if you miss the movie nights live. Just $5 a month to get a movie night every week. Here are the movies I'll be streaming next Sunday. Pledge to patreon.com/Dr. Wolfula if you're interested in my bonus streams, and I thank you in advance. Chopping Mall begins with a typical guy you'd see in New Jersey inside a mall after hours stealing cheap jewelry. The only thing that malls still sell today.
Stop right there.
This robbery is thwarted, however, by Alpha 5's edgier cousin, who's really in the mood to clamp some nipples. I feel like anyone should be able to outrun something on tractor trades, but whatever. This cold opening was just a demonstration of Securetronics, a security firm introducing their new Protector 101 robots to the Park Plaza Mall as the business's last word in personal defense. An unstoppable trio of Paul Blarts who have their segways built in.
Sweep darts fired from here and here can knock a man out in less than 30 seconds.
The robots are designed to use non-lethal means to neutralize intruders, but they also come with lasers to cut through debris.
Lasers positioned here can cut through any sort of debris.
What kind of debris? Human debris. It's not important. What is important is that with these robots, the mall is now safe, and their activity is securely monitored by a control room dude, and anyone with an ID badge is safe from harm. Though the need for these robots kind of becomes negated when Securetronics also installs thick steel Star Trek doors that seal the mall shut, but at the same time, this is the kind of bullshit a tech company would do. They build these robots as a publicity stunt, not expecting them to even be used because they installed steel doors that will do the real work.
However, the likelihood of an intruder gaining entry is greatly minimized by the steel security doors, which are time-locked from midnight till dawn.
The robots are just a really expensive add-on.
They remind me of your mother. It's the laser eyes.
In the opening, B-movie staples Paul Bartel and Mary Warrenov make cameo appearances as their cannibalistic restaurateur characters from Eating Raoul.
So tender.
It's amazing what you can do with a cheap piece of meat if you know how to treat it.
And of course, the right wine always helps.
Chopping Mall is part of the cinematic Raoul-niverse.
Wonder if they kill cockroaches.
Maybe we could use one at the restaurant. Get rid of people we don't like.
The film's title sequence establishes how active a mall used to be 40 years ago. They could be 3 stories with every space occupied by a store, bikini babes would be on constant patrol, and you could safely leave your child unattended in an elevator. Just don't expect his ice cream to be safe. But the intro also showcases the musical score of frequent Jim Wynorski composer Chuck Sereno. The relentless 80s electronic music gets across the robotic horror of the flick. But it also sounds like it'd be perfect for an early 90s video game. It sounds like something you'd hear in System Shock. It really sells the overwhelming, aggressive capitalism of an 80s mall. Even when there aren't any killbots around, a mall is still a place you have to try your hardest to survive visiting with some cash left in your wallet. The main heroine of Chopping Mall is Allison Parks, played by Kelly Maroney, who works at the mall's pizza place in a time before this would mean by default that she works at a Sbarro.
Can I get 2 Uncle Luigi Belly Busters, a double anchovy pizza, and an order of garlic logs?
This pizza place is adorned with posters from mostly Roger Corman-produced movies. Only thing cheesier than the pizza.
Yeah.
Now, the Allison character was supposed to be played by Dana Kimmel of Friday the 13th Part 3 fame, but Kimmel dropped out because she didn't want to do anything sexual for the movie.
I have not. Creep.
Which is strange because the Allison character doesn't have any nude or otherwise sexual scenes in the final film. And Wynorski also said he cast Kelly Maroney because he wanted to date her, which he did for a time. So I'm kind of getting some Harvey Weinstein vibes here, which are weird coming from the guy who directed Busty Coeds versus Lusty Cheerleaders.
That Orca Beach is here every night. Always trying to snag some skin. Play it safe, Allison. Serve at arm's length, if you get my drift.
Thanks for the advice.
Waitress, more butter.
Allison's pal, played by Barbara Crampton, sets Allison up on a blind date at a late-night party in the mall's furniture store. And by party, it's more a fuck sesh in the furniture store. I feel bad for whoever ends up buying this furniture with cum stains in it. And Allison decides to look fashionable for the party by dressing up as somebody's mom, revealing herself to her nerdy date like she's a James Bond villain.
Hi. What? Okay. What?
No, you look good.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
The furniture party is genuinely fucking crazy because it's supposed to be the first date of 2 socially conservative people that's set up by their friends. But their friends immediately just start fucking.
Oh, God. You're the king. You're the king.
Having your first date with somebody while your friends are all 69ing in earshot has gotta be awkward. It's like they were only invited to this party to be cuckolded.
They're having a nice time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the killbots. The machinery that controls them gets struck by lightning and it turns the robots evil, killing their hapless supervisors while the humans were distracted by some light reading. Lightning does two things in horror movies. It brings the dead back to life and it turns machines evil.
Sector 1, going online. Level 1.
Admittedly, I would have preferred more of an explanation for why the bots turn evil. Maybe some thieves try to rob them all by tampering with the robot's control center, causing the bots to lose all their inhibitions and kill, or maybe the bots just have flawed programming that's ignored or something.
They seem so violent. If they're called protectors, what do they protect?
But the lightning strike is just a means to an end. We just need to turn these robots into killbots as quickly as possible, and it ultimately works. The killbots in real life were designed by Robert Short, and despite their small stature, they're pretty intimidating villains. They're like murderous R2-D2s, relentless in their mission to kill, emotionless and ambiguous. They feel like robots that could totally exist today, except maybe without the lasers. The movie doesn't bother dwelling on why the robots kill. They just kill, and their murderous nature is offset by their helpful, friendly dialogue that's actually voiced by the director.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Frequent Roger Corman actor Dick Miller has a cameo in Chopping Mall as his character Walter Paisley from Corman's Bucket of Blood.
Ty, you know Paisley. He loves a challenge.
I'll be out here in 10 minutes, you'll see.
Who hung himself at the end of that movie. So this must be an alternate good future where Walter becomes a mall janitor and gets electrocuted to death by a killbot. Never kill yourself, things can always get better. When Mike heads out of the furniture store to get his girlfriend a pack of smokes in exchange for motorboating her bad boys some more.
I have to have a cigarette and I have to have one now.
Are you for real?
Mike comes face to face with one of the killbots, who lets Mike get some much-needed sleep, and after a little pinch on the neck, Leslie finds that Mike is sleeping permanently. Okay, I've heard of wanting to tap that ass, but zap that ass? Oh my... Well, she doesn't have good head anymore.
Oh my god, there's another one!
Protector 2, arming. Assist Protector 1.
When the killbots make their, well, killing known to the main group of characters, Chopping Mall becomes less of a slasher movie and more of a tale of man versus machine. The characters don't passively wait to get picked off by their robotic oppressors. The gang fights back.
We're gonna have to defend ourselves. This place got a sporting goods store?
The film's narrative is objective-based. The characters constantly formulate different strategies for killing the killbots. There's always some goal that the characters work their way up to that keeps the narrative engaging and the momentum building. There's never a dull moment in Chopping Mall.
Hey, Ferdy, how's the panel coming?
Well, the doors work now. I bypass the circuit, but forget about going up or down. It's controlled by the computer.
The bots are bulletproof, so the characters have to think outside the box to destroy them, setting a trap, for instance, by having an elevator collapse on a bot through a propane tank explosion. Whoa!
Nice shot.
Dad's a Marine.
Did he teach her how to shoot, or is it hereditary? And that was just taking out one bot in the middle of the movie. This would be the climactic defeat of a villain in any other horror flick. The characters don't just get picked off by bots unawares, the victims go down in battle. It makes the movie feel more like an action film. Barbara Crampton, who I'm legally not allowed to call a scream queen, doesn't just go out screaming. She tries to put up a fight first, but ends up ironically undone by the very thing she was hoping would kill the robots. At least I think this is irony, but if it's not, I do know one thing. Fire is pretty. Honestly, one of the best parts of Chopping Mall is just seeing mayhem let loose in a mall. I don't know how they could have had the budget to get away with so much damage of the mall's property. Breaking windows, setting fires, blowing up stores, and the mall's still managing to stay open after all this abuse during the day. It's not quite Blues Brothers level mall destruction.
Lots of space in this mall.
But it's still pretty impressive what this film could get away with in a mall on a budget under $1 million. Now, the bots are extremely limited in mobility. They move on treads, so they could totally be beaten just finding a place to hide where the robots can't reach.
Greg needs me. I know he does.
But the movie leverages the bonds between the human characters.
We got this far by staying together.
And a lot of good that did Susie, right?
Motivating the heroes of the film to seek revenge out of love and devotion to their romantic partners once they're lost to the robots.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
The movie becomes less about survival survival and more about vengeance.
Protector 3, Level 3, search proceeding.
Shopping Mall, inadvertently or not, works as a commentary on automation, taking the human element out of everything possible to maximize efficiency and save money in the long run. People don't matter under capitalism, it's the cash they bring in. When the human characters take a breather, they calculate the amount of money they're going to owe the mall for all the destruction they cause, trying to survive the nightmare the mall inflicted on them.
According to my calculations, we're going to be in hock to this place for the next 85 years.
Even if they survive this shit, the characters worry about being in debt for the rest of their lives. It's this ever-present fear of being an American that the film really taps into. The system is designed to favor those in power and screw over everyone else. Either consume or be consumed.
2,900,431.
Maybe we should raise our rates.
The narrative, action, and satire of Chopping Mall are all solid, but I do think the flick could have used a more varied cast. The main trio of dudes look like they could be the same guy with different hair, and it's clear that Wynorski has a type, casting 3 of the 4 women in the film as blondes. But I don't know, throw a redhead in here or something. It makes it so even though the performances are pretty good, none of the characters outside of the lead heroine, Allison, stand out. The cast is almost as interchangeable as the 3 killbots, which could be on purpose so you don't end up really missing any of them when they're gone. Get out of here! Speaking of which, after their remaining friends die valiantly to the lasers and cartoon lightning of the penultimate killbot. Rick, no! Allison and Ferdy, yeah, his name is Ferdy, are left remaining to take on the final killbot. But like usual with survivor couples, the guy has to suffer an ambiguous death via head trauma so the lady can overcome and survive on her own. Chopping Mall came out a few months before Aliens was released and began popularizing badass female heroes, and resourceful horror heroines weren't unheard of at the time, but it still wasn't commonplace, and it's cool to see Kelly Maroney's Allison cast in this tough girl role, especially when this movie was written by the guy who would eventually direct Shark Babes. Jim Wynorski's career is sort of like Wes Craven's in reverse. Instead of just huffing paint like I would, Allison lures the final killbot in the paint store and blows the joint up with a flare.
Have a nice day!
The one-liner is surprisingly good. Allison is even reunited with Ferdy, who's wiping his brains up with toilet paper. I'm sure their relationship will stand the test of time. The ending is kept ambiguous whether or not the couple gets away with the damage they caused to the mall, or if they end up taking the fall for all of it. Ultimately, what matters is that the couple survives, which is all you can fucking hope for in this country, surviving another day. Chopping Mall is an anomaly in Jim Wynorski's filmography. It's a really good B-movie that happens to have some tits in it instead of a really shitty B-movie with lots of tits in it. Chopping Mall has good effects, action, performances, satire, and music, and even though I'd be interested in seeing the original extended cut of the film, the existing shorter version of the movie, along with the film's fast pace, makes Chopping Mall a horror flick that doesn't overstay its welcome. It's a fun movie with the right amount of dumb. It doesn't insult your intelligence like some B-movies, trying to be bad and stupid on purpose. Chopping Mall is a movie that knows what it is and isn't ashamed of it, but still puts effort into its B-movie spectacle. I give Chopping Mall Escalator Bikini Babes at a furniture store G.
Waitress, more butter.
Now I gotta figure out what to do with this fucking mall. Ooh, I know! Maybe I could burn it down and collect the insurance money.
Well, if you're gonna do that, you probably shouldn't record yourself saying that and putting it online.
Oh, fuck, you're right. Well, there goes that option.
Why don't you just sell the mall? You inherited it. I'm sure you could get somebody to buy it for something.
Yeah, you're right. I could get at least $1 million off this place.
Or you could donate the mall to charity and turn it into a homeless shelter. A lot of people are struggling and unhoused right now with the economy the way it is.
Okay, shut the fuck up. I'm not doing that. I'm just gonna sell this place.
Oh, okay.
This video is made possible through the pledges of my Patreon supporters, and I'd like to give a very special thanks to the kind folks pledged to my shoutouts tier. All of their support on Patreon means a lot to me, and it helps my dark influence continue to grow. If you liked this video, like it, and if you loved it, click the subscribe and bell buttons for more videos. Be sure to also keep in touch by following me on social media at Dr. Wolfula. While I still have your attention, consider pledging to my Patreon to support the channel and get bonus content like private movie night streams with me and credits in my videos. Consider pledging at patreon.com/Dr. Wolfula. Also, check out official Dr. Wolfula merch on tpublic.com/user/Dr. Wolfula. Thanks for watching. Dr. Wolfula signing out.